The spring breeze carried the scent of wildflowers and the faint hum of chaos as I stood at the edge of my property, watching a bride toss confetti into the air like she owned the place. Her satin gown gleamed under the midday sun, her heels sinking into my dirt, and a violin quartet sawed away at some pop song like it was a coronation. I didn't need to shout. My voice was steady, low, cutting through the festive hum. "You're trespassing." She didn't turn. She didn't even flinch. That was my first clue about who I was dealing with. Her name was Vanessa Hartley, the kind of woman who'd never been told nonnet by her prep school clique, not by her ex-fiancé, not by the attorneys her father kept on speed dial. She had enough money to fuel a curated Instagram empire and a rotating cast of life coaches. This wedding wasn't just a party, it was her throne, her stage, her middle finger to every venue that dared to deny her. The vineyard was overbooked, the botanical garden had pesky fire codes, and the lakeside estate demanded permits she couldn't be bothered to chase. So when a sketchy guy named Mitch dangled the keys to a private rustic ranch, she wrote a check before the ink on his fake lease was dry. She wanted untamed charm, no restrictions. What she got was 100 acres of federal bait, 3 unmarked vans of DEA agents crouched in the brush, and Wyatt Cole, the guy she mistook for a groundskeeper. I'd known this land was hot for months. The barn wasn't just weathered wood, it was a wired fortress, rigged with cameras in the rafters and radio interceptors stashed in the tools shed. My ranch was a DEA safehouse, a trap for cartel players moving dirty money through fake events. Vanessa had no idea. She thought she'd scored the deal of the century when she rolled through my locked gate with her floral arches and champagne towers. By 9 a.m., she was barking orders, waving me off without a glance. "Clear the barrels by 5, and make the hay look neat for photos," she snapped, her back to me, her veil snapping in the wind. I didn't argue. I just let her dig her own grave. By noon, her wedding was a circus. A white tent the size of a stadium bloated over my east field, vendors scurrying like ants, a mobile coffee bar grinding beans next to my tractor. Vanessa's army caterers, photographers, a DJ had no clue they were staging a party for a laundering network. But I did. The agents did. Just last week, we caught chatter about a big move tied to a social event in the county. Now it was unfolding, complete with shrimp skewers and flower girls. Vanessa's groom, Javi Morales, rolled in at 1 p.m., all slick charm and wandering hands, the kind of guy whose smile hides a ledger of sins. I knew his face from the briefings. He was a DA target, tied to a digital money-washing scheme masked by shell companies and staged gatherings. This wedding wasn't love, it was logistics. Vanessa, clueless, fussed over cake lighting while Javi's cousin, Luis Elgato Vargas, a wanted man in 4 states, laughed by the gift table. A woman in a glittering dress tinkered with a drone controller under the tablecloth. The air crackled with something heavier than wedding bells. At 2 p.m., my earpiece buzzed. "Eyes on Luis. Proceed with caution." I stepped toward Vanessa as her bridesmaids posed by my silo. "Ma'am," I said, voice like gravel, "you need to shut this down. This is federal property." She squinted through oversized sunglasses, tilting her head like I was a bug on her windshield. "I paid for this. Talk to Mitch." Her smirk dared me to try. I gave her one last shot. "Mitch doesn't own this land. The U.S. government does. This is a DA safe house. You're on monitored ground. Leave now, or it's a felony." That's when she snapped. Her face twisted, a spoiled rage that could have cracked glass. "Don't you pull some militia nonsense on me. I'll sue. I'll own this barn, and you'll be sweeping confetti for pennies." I didn't blink. I touched my earpiece. "She's not moving. Go." The trees stirred. Shadows shifted. A caterer by the buffet tapped his cufflink, another agent. The DJ, one of ours, leaned into his rig. Then Javi's voice boomed over the mic. "A toast to my bride and our cousins who made this possible." That word "saw cousins" saw was the signal. A van door slid open. Badges flashed. Ja VY hit the dirt in zip ties before the VY Alines could pivot to another tune. Vanessa spun, face drained, mascara teetering. What the hell is this? This is my wedding saw. I took one step forward. Wyatt Cole, DA. This barn's not yours. It's bait. Her perfect day unraveled like a cheap hem. Ja VY didn't run oddly calm, almost bored, as agents cuffed him. Vanessa, though, erupted like a storm hitting a trailer park. You can't arrest people at weddings! She shrieked, arms flailing, veil whipping like a surrender flag. The guests froze as agents moved through, scanning phones, sorting players from pawns. The caterers were lined up, cooperative but dazed. The DJ's speakers went silent when an agent yanked the plug. Vanessa, while VYing a laminated lease like a shield, charged me, VYing it into my chest. I rented this. I have a contract. I glanced at Mitch's forged signature and handed it back. Mitch sold you a lie. This paper's as useless as your table settings. Her face bloomed crimson. You think some dusty cowboy owns a federal barn? I don't think, I said. I know. Leave, or you're obstructing. Her eyes flicked to Ja VY, now smirking against the barn wall, flanked by agents. Cartel? She whispered, fear cracking her voice. She stumbled back, heels snagging, realization dawning. No cows, no ranch, just wires and traps. An agent gently took her arm, not cuffed, just guided. She twisted, screamed, This is illegal! I'm the bride! A guest's phone caught it all, the clip destined to go viral. The takedown was surgical. A briefcase by the hay bales held encrypted drives and a burner phone gold for the case. Luis was cuffed by the gift table, his sigh heavier than his rap sheet. The drone woman was nabbed with her laptop, barely hidden under wrapping paper. Vanessa's world collapsed as her guests were questioned, her tulips wilted, and her dream day became a meme. By dusk, the tents were down, EVY Denke boxed, and Ja VY was en route to a federal lockup. Vanessa sat in a holding cell, her gown fraying, rhinestones plucked from her veil like fallen stars. She wasn't charged yet, but her name was on receipts tied to fronts, including a catering company flagged as a laundering shell. Her lawyer, all bluster and billable hours, couldn't erase the paper trail. She'd married a man running a 3-state laundering hub, and her wedding was the final act in a chain of dirty deals. Her ignorance didn't erase the signatures. In a gray room, her voice cracked. I just paid for food. I didn't know. An agent shrugged. Intent doesn't erase EVY Denke. She glared at me through the door. You set me up. I didn't flinch. I told you to leave. Her lawyer yanked her back, but the damage was done. Social media feasted. From vows to violations, with her mascara-streaked face trending. Weeks later, Vanessa returned alone, no entourage, just sunglasses and a navy coat. She stopped at the gate, clutching a coffee cup. I'm not here to fight, she said softly. I wanted to apologize. Or explain. I leaned on the fence. You sure you're not here for your shoe? A faint smile flickered. I saw it. Left it there. Silence hung between us, broken only by a distant bird. You weren't supposed to be here, I said. This place was in VY Cybele until you crashed it. She nodded. I thought signs didn't apply to me. Her honesty caught me off guard. I'm not asking forgiveness, she added. I just needed to see it without the lies. It was never meant to be seen, I replied. Now it's burned. All because you ignored the gate. She tossed her cup in the trash and left without drama, her car fading into the dust. The report came days later. Operation Ivory Veil. Bagged 14 arrests, froze accounts, and cracked a smuggling ring, all because Vanessa's ego rushed a cartel's timeline. Her wedding, a reckless intrusion, lit the fuse. She faced no charges, her lawyer's work, but her name was a punchline, her social circle a ghost town. The ranch was stripped, sensors gone, barn empty. I left her shoe in the mud, A tilted relic of a day that broke an empire and a bride. Some stories don't end in cheers or vengeance. They end in quiet, with dirt, wind, and a truth too loud to bury.